Well, I hope that you've had a good week so far. I hope that you've had a good day. I'm excited that we get to take the next few minutes tonight to study from God's Word. We just have so many reasons to be thankful for His Word, and definitely much to learn. As always, if you're hurting or you're sick, we want to let you know that we love you and we are praying for you. And if we can do anything at all for you, we just ask that you would ask us. That's all the announcements, which was pretty much no announcement. So we're in Job chapter 20 tonight. We've already heard from Eliphaz, we've already heard from Bildad, and now we are about to hear from Zophar. Now, last week we heard from Job, who was responding to all the friends and their speeches, but he was particularly responding to Eliphaz. Well, tonight, as we've already said, we hear from Zophar, and Zophar is pretty upset like the other friends, and we can gather that just from the types of things that he chooses to say throughout his second speech. But he's particularly upset about Job not thinking that the friends, not thinking that they're wise. So he really throws that back at Job, and then he gives us, like the other friends, he gives us a picture of the fate of the wicked. Now, it's probably a little more harsh than what we've seen from the friends, from the other friends thus far. But we'll go ahead and pick up in Job chapter 20. So if you haven't read that, please pause the video. Maybe go read chapter 20. It might make a little more sense what we're talking about if we go ahead and read it before we talk about it. So Job chapter 20, verse 1. Then Zophar the Naamathite answered and said, "Therefore my thoughts answer me, because of my haste within me. I hear censure that insults me, and out of my understanding a spirit answers me." So what we see right off the bat, he says, "Therefore my thoughts," as he's been listening to Job, as he's been listening to how the other friends no doubt respond to Job, he says, "My thoughts answer me." Really, we kind of lose it if the Hebrew is really more descriptive here. It says, "My thoughts, they trouble me." So not only is he having thoughts, but the thoughts that he has are very disturbing. He says, "Because of my haste within me, I hear censure that insults me." Now, what's insulting about what Job has already said? Well, no doubt, hey, you guys, basically, you're fools. You don't have wisdom. And you know how you don't have wisdom? Because if you had wisdom, you would really think about what you're saying. If you had wisdom, you would reason before you spoke. But you don't. So let me tell you, Job says, what your wisdom would be. Your wisdom would be to shut your mouth and go stand over there while I hash it out with God Himself. That would be your wisdom. Well, you know how the friends usually respond to that. "No, Job, you're the one that's a fool. And you're the one that thinks you're so superior to us. You think we're so inferior to you, but we're actually not." Well, here it is again. I'm insulted, Job. I'm insulted by what you've said so far. So he says, "And out of my understanding a spirit answers me." Now, this is really... his spirit not only causes him to provide Job an answer, but his spirit also has reasoned through what he's about to say. His spirit has understanding. So not only is he trying to say, "Job, I'm responding because my spirit has understanding, but I'm also responding in such a way that you need to know that I am wise. I am responding in a way that you desire for me to respond. I've thought about the things I'm going to say. I've reasoned through the things that I'm going to say, and here it is." So we get to verse 4. Do you not know this from of old, since man was placed on earth, that the exulting of the wicked is short, and the joy of the godless but for a moment? Job, you're so interested in bringing your case before God. Have you forgot true wisdom, Job? Now remember, the friends operate under this ancient understanding that older people provide people with wisdom. So a longer a saying is around, the more wise, the more wisdom, I guess you could say, it's thought to provide. Well, here's the saying. What is it? That the exulting of the wicked is short, and the joy of the godless but for a moment. So what is he trying to say? Job, have you forgotten the ancient idea that wickedness will be punished? Have you forgotten that, Job? Have you forgotten that it may seem as if the wicked are prospering and succeeding in life, but will ultimately meet their demise? Have you forgot about that, Job? He says in verse 6, though his height. Now, who's his height? Well, remember, we're still talking about the wicked. Though his height mount up to the heavens, and his head reach to the clouds, he will perish forever like his own dung. Those who have seen him will say, where is he? Now, he's providing us with a very vivid description of the fate of the wicked, because he's referring to this person that is wicked, but also has joy at one point in their life. They seem to prosper. They seem to exceed at one point in their life. It seems as if their head, he says, is at the height of the heavens. Their heads reaches the clouds. Their heights, rather, reaches, mount up to the heavens, and their head reaches to the clouds. Well, what is it saying? It may seem that they're so successful that they're just arrogant. They're puffed up. They think that nothing can stand in their way. They are indestructible. It may seem that the wicked, that they portray this image as if they're going to live forever. They might even think, in fact, that they are a god. But Bildad says, Zophar rather says, rest assured, they will perish. And those who have seen him will say, where is he? All these people that saw this great person will eventually say, where is he? His memory fades. He will fly away like a dream and not be found. He will be chased away like the vision of the night. How fast does he fly away? Pretty quickly. It's like a vision of the night that's been chased away by some light that has come through. The eye that saw him will see him no more, nor will his place any more behold him. So we think about this wicked, almost like monarch here, this wicked person that rules, that everybody's like, wow, he is the guy. Look at him. He is unstoppable. Nobody can stop him. Well, eventually, his fame flees. Quickly. People that used to see him don't know where he's at. We saw that from verse 8 too. Nor will his place any more behold him. The place where he used to walk. The place where he used to sit. The people that were around that would serve him. You fill it in. He's not there anymore. His children will seek the favor of the poor, and his hands will give back his wealth. Now we know that this wicked person we're talking about is not only successful, but he's very, very wealthy too. Well, where did his wealth come from? Well, his wealth came from extorting others. That's where his wealth came from. He coerced it from other people. So in turn, when this wicked, wealthy person dies, his kids are left with nothing. And it's kind of ironic because now his kids have only one hope, and that's to go to the people that their father oppressed and ask for help to survive. His children will seek the favor of the poor. Notice here, this is another example of how sin doesn't only affect the individual, but it affects people around the individual. The children suffer from what their father did. His bones are full of his youthful vigor, but it will lie down with him in the dust. So again, at one time, these people looked at this great, wicked, king that we're thinking about. And everybody thought, wow, not only is he, good looking in appearance, but he's also in shape. It looks like he could live forever, like we've already talked about. But it's ironic too, because he dies in his prime. Though evil is sweet in his mouth, though he hides it under his tongue, though he is loath to let it go and holds it in his mouth, yet his food is turned in his stomach. It is the venom of cobras within him. John Hartley provides a really good explanation on these 3 verses. He really highlights the picture that Zophar is trying to get us to conjure up. You have this evil person that delights in their evil deeds. They delight in their wickedness. It's as if they have a morsel of food under their tongue and they're trying to suck every bit of sweetness out of that morsel that they can. They're trying to extract every bit of flavor from that morsel before it dissolves in their mouth as they can. Well, that's how their wicked deeds are to the wicked. To the evil person, their wicked deeds are sweet. They taste so good. But like that morsel of food that a person continues to suck on, it will eventually disappear, and they will be forced to swallow its contents. So it is with the wicked. The wicked may find great joy in the things that they do. They might find great delight in the actions that they perform. But eventually that sweetness will run out. And they'll be forced to swallow their evil doing. And when it hits their stomach, it's not quite as pleasant as it once was. Because then it sours their stomach. It's like poison. It's the venom of cobras, Zophar says. He swallows down riches and vomits them up again. God casts them out of his belly. So their evil actions. Do they delight in their evil actions? Yeah. It's like the morsel of food. The morsel of food tastes sweet, but at its core, that morsel is poisonous. Notice who activates the vomiting. God. So why do the friends think that God is punishing Job? Well, not only is Job by performing, let me think about how to say that for a second. Job's going to be punished in their mind for the evil actions that he's actually done. Now, Job doesn't think he's done anything to warrant the punishment that he's going through. But, nevertheless, They think Job's done some awful things, and because of that, Job is going to be punished because he did evil things. But God is also going to punish him. So why do the friends always talk about God as if God is the one doing this to Job? It's because that's what God does. He will suck the poison of cobras. The tongue of a viper will kill him. So at one point he thought everything was good. He delighted in his days. He loved the evil things that he did. You know, when he went and took things from the poor, when he took all their money and left them out to die, he was pleased by that. He was happy. But it comes back to bite him. The tongue of the viper will kill him. So just by that verse alone, it was a belief among some of the ancients that where does the viper hold its poison? Well, the poison is held in its tongue. We know that's not actually true, but that doesn't mean that's not what some people thought. He will not look upon the rivers and streams flowing with honey and curds. He will give back the fruit of his toil and will not swallow it down. From the profit of his trading, he will get no enjoyment. So he amassed all this wealth for himself. It's like he never was satisfied in his life, this wicked person. But he never gets to enjoy it. And it all goes back to the people that he hurt. Now notice that. God punishes the wicked. But the righteous, they may suffer, but eventually they'll be blessed again. And they're blessed by the wealth that the evil person stole from them. It eventually will go back to them. For he has crushed and abandoned the poor. He has seized a house that he did not build. Well, let's be a little more specific about what he does to the poor. We know that he oppresses the poor, but we also know that he takes their house. He takes their place of shelter. He takes their place of security. And not only does he take their house, but he takes all the contents that reside in their house. Notice it's not his that he did not build. It's not his to take. Because he knew no contentment in his belly, he will not let anything in which he delights escape him. Now, this is like painting the picture that money, not just money, but riches material possessions will drive some people just absolutely mad. Notice he's like a tyrant going through trying to get everything he can from anybody. He's trying to deceive people. He's just taking it outright, maybe by force. It's never good enough. The amount that he has today is not good enough. The amount he will have tomorrow is not good enough. The amount he'll have in 10 years if he keeps doing that will not be good enough. He is never satisfied. There was nothing left after he had eaten. Therefore his prosperity will not endure. In the fullness of his sufficiency he will be in distress, and the hand of everyone in misery will come against him. To fill his belly to the full, God will send his burning anger against him and rain it upon him in his body. Now next week, since we're out of time, we'll get to see the further, we'll get to see the picture in its fuller context, because we'll get to see what God actually does with that wicked person. Hope you have a great rest of the week. I can't wait to see everybody Sunday. God bless.